Gothic is coming and so am I. Welcome to the channel. My name is Agent Paco and we're talking about all things Sorcery Contested Realm. But first, I've got some really cool news to share about Sorcery, which is I will be in Houston at SCG Con. That's right. Sorcery is coming to SCG Con, which is a bigger convention that rotates kind of around the United States, travels around, has many locations across the US throughout the year, and Sorcery is becoming a part of that circuit for the foreseeable future. So it starts off in Houston in October 17th through the 19th. There's a 3-day long convention. Sorcery is gonna be there, and so am I. I actually have the chance, my wife and I are gonna be working the Sorcery booth, teaching all the learn to plays for all 3 days. So really interacting with the community, new people who have not heard of the game, which, let's be honest, I think most of the people who are going to be at this convention have not heard of Sorcery, so this is a really cool opportunity to be able to grow the game, meet a ton of new people, and hopefully drag them in, and boy, am I going to drag them in and never let them go, you know? So it's really exciting. If you're at all interested in coming, they're going to be in Houston, they're going to be in Baltimore the next weekend, and then they're going to be in Vegas in November, like late November. So if you can go to any of these events, I say absolutely do it. They're free to attend. There's going to be a lot of Sorcery programming all 3 days. And that's kind of the reason I wanted to make the video in the first place, is one, to say, hey, I'm going to be in Houston. What's up? Let's like hang out or like, you know, talk. I don't know. But also, they just released the actual schedule for Houston, and I wanted to talk about what all events you are going to see in Houston, and probably, I have to assume it's going to be emulated probably the exact same way in Baltimore and Las Vegas. These conventions, you know, are kind of similar at these different locations. So the Houston schedule just got revealed, and I want to go over that right now and tell you what's going on. So the big event at all 3 of these SCG Con events is the Crossroads, which if you haven't taken a dive into Sorcery's kind of organized play schedule and like procedure and what their vision is for the future of playing competitive Sorcery, I will link an article in the description that goes into great detail and actually explains what that is. But, you know, to make a long story short, basically there's 3 different tiers of events that are officially sanctioned Sorcery competitive events. The first being the Cornerstone, the second being a Crossroads, and the third being the Avatar of the Realm. So if you play on a local level and maybe you have a local store who has been real into Sorcery, hosting weekly events or trying to get a community going, Sorcery has this thing called a Cornerstone, which is you kind of have a local, more localized event, championship event, called a Cornerstone, and there's prizes to the top competitors, and it rewards more local play. And there's a lot of Cornerstones that have been announced already kind of throughout the US and across the world. The next tier is more of a regional level of organized play called the Crossroads. So this is where SCG Con's events are going to lie. So the Crossroads have a little different prizing. So I'm not going to call it better, it's just like different. So the Cornerstone, you know, you get a Cornerstone playmat for the top 4 or 8, and at the Crossroads, the top 8 get a Crossroads playmat. So that's like a difference. If you place in the top 4 in a Crossroads, you actually get an even better prize, which is a rainbow foil premium version of the Avatar that you placed in the top 4 with. So we saw our first ever Crossroads at Gen Con. There's been a couple videos, a couple other Sorcery creators that have explained what went down at Gen Con. I wasn't able to be there, but I've been keeping up with it, and it seemed like a really fun, really cool event. 128 people competing in the first Crossroads. I don't think SCG Con is going to get that crazy. I mean, that would be awesome if they really got consistently that amount of people. SCG Con is definitely a smaller event, so we'll see how many people actually register for more Crossroads that are popping up. But that rainbow foil avatar is going to be pretty valuable, so people are really going to want to get that. Along with the avatar, the top, for participating, you just get a special promo by Atlas Thorn, who made Sorcery Altars and now is an official artist, which is awesome. Each region Crossroads has a different altar that you get. So the Americas has a specific tower promo that you can only get for competing in America, and so on and so forth. But if you place in the top 8 of the tournament, you actually get a full set of all 3 of the towers, which is pretty cool. So again, the rewards are a little different based on what event you're playing in, but in my opinion, Crossroads it's a regional event. The prizing is a little better. The competition's going to be a little higher, but you don't have to qualify. So again, like I said, you literally just sign up for it and you show up on the Saturday in Houston. So I guess that's the 18th. That they'll be at SCG Con, and you can just play and see what happens. So we'll see how many people sign up and actually want to register for that. But I really, this is like the opportunity. Like the top 4 literally also, they did announce, get a Dragon Lord box, which as you can see, I have a box back here on the shelf, the one that I was able to get. And that's a really cool set that is not going to be very available apparently. So if you want a guaranteed Dragon Lord box, build a deck. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Get in the training arc a little bit, like Rocky or something. Get in the lab and place in the top 4, and that guarantees you a box. So, yeah, that's the Crossroads. And then the top tier, they haven't actually announced yet. It's called the Avatar of the Realm, and that's going to be like a actual, like, I think world tournament, like a one big tournament in 2026. So we'll see what that looks like. I literally have no idea. I think literally the winner of that gets an original piece of art of one of the tower promos, which would be crazy. So literally really exciting news that SCG Con is going to be involved in Sorcery just in general. And again, really thankful that I kind of get to be a part of that journey as well. So I want to talk about like the other events besides the Crossroads. So the Crossroads is the Saturday event, the big grand, you know, most people, most hype, most rewards event all day Saturday basically. And that is a constructed tournament. So you do have to bring your own deck. But on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, there's some smaller events. So on Friday, the first day, the first very event is a competitive sealed tournament. So like a limited sealed event. And it is a more competitive event for players who, I mean, obviously anybody can join, but I would say that is going to be where people really try and go a little like intensely into sealed, the big sealed event on Friday. If you win, there are prizes for all the smaller events, but they're not really sorcery prizes. Saturday, the Crossroads has the sorcery specific prizing, and all these other events that I'm about to talk about that are smaller have lower player count, obviously, but you just get basically tickets to redeem at their prize wall. So it's like when you go to Chuck E. Cheese and you get a bunch of tickets and it's like, mommy, I want the Xbox, but it costs like $1 million because that's how they make their money, I guess, in tickets. So you basically get, I want to say 2,000 tickets. I don't know what that means, to be honest, but if you win the sealed tournament, 2,000 tickets, I have to think that's a good amount and equivalent to buying cool. I know their prize wall has promos for some of the games and play mats and merch and stuff like that, and maybe even sealed products. So I think you get cool prizes. It's just not sorcery specific. And I don't know if they've announced anything sorcery specific being at SCG Con. There was a promo, what was it called? City of Glass, I believe that they revealed for SCG Con. I want to say there's a playmat as well. So I kind of think the playmat will be at the prize wall, and if you win enough tickets, you can get the sorcery playmat, and that's the only way you can get that mat. But don't quote me on that. I think that was in the article, right? But we'll find out. I mean, it's in about a month and a half, so we'll find out then. I'll be there, so whatever. I'll maybe strapped to the booth, so I won't be able to really redeem any tickets or anything. But you know, I'll get my wife to go do it for me, I guess. So that's the limited sealed event. They also are running pre-constructed, kind of casual, not even just learn to play, but actually like a pre-constructed like event where you get a pre-con and you battle in a mini tournament, you know, a couple rounds using pre-cons. And again, you get prizes for that, but I think the only prizes for these like pre-con deck battles is everybody gets tickets, win or lose, like, you know, 50 tickets or something smaller. So it's, again, this is a more casual event. The only competitive events are this sealed event on Friday, the Crossroads on Saturday, and then there's pre-con leagues on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, sprinkled in, I want to say like 2 p.m. each day. But then the other event that is kind of interesting is a sealed event, but it's a team sealed. So that's on Sunday. So on Sunday afternoon, it's the last sorcery event of the convention. They're doing team sealed. I tried to look into it, and there's not a ton of information. Like, it literally just says team sealed. I don't really know what that means, to be honest. I want to say, if I wager a guess here, and I could be totally wrong, let me know in the comments, I guess, if they come out with some new news. But team sealed, I want to say you get with a partner and it's two-headed dragon, like the 2v2 version, where maybe you both make a sealed deck and then can work together 2v2. I know that is a cool sorcery format they're trying to push, not really officially by the company, but the company is aware of it and does like it. And like, I don't know. That's not an official thing. So I don't know if that's correct. And you have to use a special mat for that, actually. So I don't think that may be true, but I'm curious what team sealed means. I don't even know. Maybe is it like you have one deck, but you're with a partner and y'all are playing the deck together and can make decisions? Is it free for all? Well, it can't be free for all because that wouldn't be a team, like 1v1v1v1, like Commander style. That'd be cool in the future, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. That is the most intriguing event in my mind, just because I don't really know what that is. If it's two-headed dragon, I played that in Vegas last year, and it's a ton of fun. Like, I bought the mat to play at my house because I thought it was really cool. So yeah, you literally build decks and work together to kill the other two people, and there's some special rules and like special health that you like have for a 2v2 event. But yeah, moral of the story, I'm really excited. I think this is a really cool opportunity, seeing the schedule and seeing that there were competitive events, a lot of casual events, honestly, a lot more casual events than competitive, which is good because, like I said in the beginning, the majority of people coming to this convention do not know what sorcery is. And that, to me, is just like free money. That is like a free mine that we're tapping into and really hopefully getting to see sorcery explode. I want to close out the video by talking about Gothic, which is the next sorcery set rumored to come out by the end of the year. We haven't had anything official, but they keep teasing October, November. And that begs the question, is Gothic going to be at SCG Con? So there's not another sorcery like big event until mid-October. The last big event was at Gen Con a couple weeks ago. So we've kind of got this gap here where they're dropping some spoilers. A lot of spoilers were at Gen Con with some of the artists. I don't know. It makes you think, like, is Gothic going to drop? And then the pre-con casual events are going to be with the Gothic pre-cons. They have already spoiled one of the Gothic pre-cons, and I won't say it because I don't want to spoil it. But if you know, you know. That's going to be really cool, and I'm really excited about that avatar. But it could happen. Again, I don't know anything for sure. People have tried asking in Discord, I've seen, about like, oh, is Gothic going to be at SCG Con? Can we expect it? Like, oh, people are asking all sorts of questions about that, and obviously they're not going to answer. Like, come on, they're not going to answer that. But I'm holding out hope. I think the answer is no, personally. I think Gothic will not release until these events have passed, just because logistically it takes a long time. They still had some art that was still not submitted a couple months ago. And for me, it's like, it's either on a ship coming to America or coming to where the, distribution around the world right now, like today, to be ready in October, or it's going to be a while, it may be a month after or whatever. I just think, man, wouldn't it be cool if you really go, they like making a splash at these bigger events, and SCG Con isn't the biggest event in the world, but it would be the sign of, hey, we're having a continued partnership with this company. It's going to be a strong relationship. They have said they're going to be at every SCG Con pretty much going forward, even into next year. So, is this the start of something new, Troy and Gabriella? I don't know, but I really hope so. I don't think so, but I hope so, you know. So let me know what you think in the comments, please. I'm really curious. Let me know if you're going to Houston. There are going to be some artists in Houston too. I don't know about Baltimore or Vegas. You know, I'm not sure what the vibe is there. They'll probably come out with that as we get closer to those dates, maybe even in a couple weeks. But in Houston, Liz Danforth and Brian Wackwitz are going to be at SCG Con. So those are the two sorcery artists that will be there. I don't think they'll be at the Sorcery booth necessarily. They may have their own booth because they obviously are involved in Magic the Gathering and like other things as well. But I got both of them in Vegas last year to sign my cards and got to chat with both of them. Brian had this amazing sketchbook of all the sketches he did for the Druid avatar and all the cards that he made for Arthurian Legends. And it was the coolest thing I literally got to see in the entire convention, like bar none. So Brian's a super cool guy. Liz was so nice, and you know, Mirror Realm is like the most beautiful piece of art I've ever seen for my life. So this is going to be an incredible con. I'm really excited. I'm going to be there repping Sorcery, and I hope you are too. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, and hey, I've got a couple big videos on the way. So seriously, like, please subscribe to the channel. I've got 2 videos I've been working on for such a long time. I'm really trying to make good quality sorcery content instead of just like, I don't know, throwing up stuff when I don't really have much to say because sorcery is a slower game or whatever. So I've got a big project I've been working on for over a month about to drop. It will come out before SCG Con. So please, you know, keep a lookout, and I'll see you soon.